A radioactive gas has been found in homes in your area. It's called radon, and it's so deadly, it's the second leading cause of lung cancer. High radon levels will expose your family to as much radiation as having literally hundreds of chest x-rays in 1 year. But there is something you can do about it. Call to get your radon test information. Radon, the health hazard in your home that has a simple solution.
Proud of yourself. You exercise, eat right, keep informed. You even quit smoking. You look great. But while you're getting yourself in shape, your world is getting out of shape. Protecting the environment begins with you. Conserve, recycle, care, or someday you may find yourself all dressed up with no place to go.
Welcome to Etc. I'm Nancy Kenny, and today's special guests are Carolyn and Phil Bowers. We're LaGrange Park residents. And Carolyn has been a homemaker.
Yes.
And Phil has been an insurance executive, but their real love has been the music business.
Right.
And they both have wonderful stories to tell us. And I think we're going to start with Carolyn. You were one of the, or are, one of the Sherry sisters.
Yes, I see.
And for those at home who aren't familiar with the Sherry sisters, who are a little bit younger, give us a little brief background of what they've done and how they got to into show business.
Well, when I was a little girl, we had a family orchestra in South Dakota. And then in the meantime, as I got a little older, we had gone down to Jacksonville, Florida, and we started singing as the Sherry Sisters. And then we ended up going to on the road with Dean Hudson's band.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They left Lawrence Welk country to go to Jacksonville, and then they had their own radio program and worked in nightclubs there, and were discovered by the Dean Hudson Band, which is one of the best bands in the South.
Oh, that's terrific. And what period of time was this? What years were
I guess it was in 1947, 48, somewhere.
49.
Oh, okay. I didn't
It was
know.
several years.
After the war.
Yeah, yes.
And I think that we have some film footage, and they can probably tell us much more about what you've done than just talking about it. So let's take a look at it and see a glimpse of the Sherry sisters. I'm Janie. I'm Paula. I'm Carolyn. We're sisters, real sisters. We're sure you can tell. We're happy to be here and sing as well. I'm from Chicago, and so am I, but not me. She's from Carolina, and nothing could be finer, but we sing together in family harmony. Our children have kept us off TV. We're mothers, real mothers, as proud as can be. We never miss the glamour and lights. Our entertainment is family fights. We're sisters and want to sing for you. Boop, boop, ba-doo. Well, that was fun to see. That gives us an idea of what you did.
I wrote that song, Nancy, in Germany.
You did? Oh.
Driving around in a rental car.
That it's
Carolyn's request. And
Well, I mentioned to Phil that I would love to have him write a song about all of we three sisters, because I thought people always like to know a little more about us, and so that's how he...
Yes. Oh, yes. And
we've used it ever since.
do you still sing with your sisters?
Whenever the one sister comes up from North Carolina, we get together. We just practice and rehearse, or sometimes we sing. Yes, we've made some commercials and cable TV shows, and we were on Jonathan Brandmeier's show.
Yeah, on NBC with
really?
Jonathan
Oh, yeah, we
Brandmeier.
were
Yes,
on
that
quite a few shows.
ill-fated show.
I can try to imagine Jonathan Brandmeier with you. That must
But
have
it was
been
fun. I
interesting.
think we've enjoyed
I'll
it.
bet.
We
I'll
like
bet
to
it
do
was
that.
fun. And another thing we mentioned is that you have a big family, and you're a busy homemaker, and while you were working, and tell me about your family.
Well, would you like to know how many children we have?
I would love to know how many children you have.
We have 7 sons, and each one has a sister.
Oh?
Would you like to see a picture of
I
your
would
family?
love to see a picture of your family.
So you can believe it?
I feel like something's coming. Something's happening.
Well, I happen to bring it along. I always carry this. I'd like to introduce our family with our family theme song. Carolyn, do you know Lawrence Welk's telephone number?
No, sir.
A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. We have Ron and Danny, Lee and Roger, Jay and Jeffrey, Jim and Polly, and there are children if you didn't know. We need to fill in. Even trouble has a way to go. We need a Carolyn. Ron and Danny, Lee and Roger, Jay and Jeffrey, Jim and Polly, and when they're sleeping, it's fine and dandy, but when awake, what can we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a gleam in my eye.
Oh, Phil. Oh, that was wonderful.
Now you've met our
That was
family.
Really wonderful. I've never had anyone introduce their family to me that way. That was great.
There's always the first
That
time,
was
right?
Well,
Yes.
we're very proud of them. They're
Well.
wonderful children.
Well, I bet they're very proud of you, too.
Well,
They laugh.
Yeah.
Everyone has a good sense of humor.
Yes.
Well,
Really
that's
do.
good. Well, we'll talk more about the Bowers when we come back from our break, so stay with us.
I tell you, I've got to start living the simple life.
Is this the simple life?
No, I've got too much to worry about. Man-eating beasts inventing the wheel, cholesterol.
Cholesterol?
Yeah, you think I want to see somebody in my family have a heart attack? We're not Neanderthals.
Keep up with the times. Watch your family's blood cholesterol level. Eat a diet low in saturated fats and cholesterol.
After all, you know what happened to the dinosaurs.
That was cholesterol?
You've taught your children to be polite and friendly, but have you taught them when not to be?
Hi there. Do you live around here?
Uh-huh.
You going to school?
Yes.
Well, I could give you a ride.
Last year, 50,000 children disappeared, many of them from nice, safe neighborhoods.
It's okay. Come on, help me.
Talk to your children about not talking to strangers, and do it today. A message for your child's safety from the American Medical Association.
We're back with Phil and Carolyn Bowers, and that was a wonderful treat to take us out of the first segment.
Well, thank you.
And you sang about your family, but tell me about them. Tell me about your children and how long you've been married. And
Well, we've been married 42 years, and it seems just like yesterday.
And you know what a lousy day yesterday was.
Well, it's like one of the songs that I wrote. We've been happily married 20 years. Now to 42, that's not bad.
Okay.
We'd do it over again.
Sure we would, Phil. Righto.
Well, you have 8 children?
8,
Yeah.
yes.
8. How many boys and how many girls?
Well, 7 sons.
7 sons and
And
1 girl.
each one has a sister.
Well, we said that.
Okay, well, see, I didn't get that
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't know how I missed that.
That's perfectly
but
okay.
That's,
No, and our oldest son is married and has one little daughter, and then our daughter is married, and she has 2 daughters. So we have 3 grandchildren, beautiful, genius, and talented.
of course. How could they be otherwise? With grandparents like you, it skips a generation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have any children who are musical, who've taken the same interest in music that the two
Well,
of you?
they all love music, and some play piano. They all did play instruments. Now, more of them are interested in sports and other things.
They all went to local schools, I
Yes,
assume?
they sure
Kleins
did.
Township.
How did you, briefly, how did you end up here when you've been on the road and touring and doing different things? How did you end up in LaGrange Park?
Oh, that's an interesting story. It was Carolyn's sister was, I don't know, engaged, I believe, to
Someone that lived in Berwyn.
someone in Berwyn who had been with the orchestra too. Incidentally, all 3 of the Sherry sisters married people from the Dean Hudson Orchestra. So,
Really?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
And we're all still married.
You're all-
That's so
You're all
good.
still married,
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
There are probably a lot of
Yeah.
young women out there now wondering how they can meet someone from the Dean.
Yeah, but I
Orchestra.
left the Johnny Long Orchestra at the Capitol Theater in New York to come to Chicago because Carolyn had already come out here. And I said, if we're ever going to get married, this would be the time. So I left we both left the road then and decided to stay here.
Well, you had a very interesting time with a band and orchestra. Tell us about that.
Well, I played trombone from the time I couldn't reach the 7th position. My arm was too short. Now it's longer. But I played my way through college with a little help from my parents, and then I played my way through the Army in World War II, and immediately went on the road because it was what I was used to doing, and I enjoyed it. So I was playing in and out of New York, and with Sam Downey, who was the last one, and it must be interesting. I went into a musician's tavern to see friends and find out what was going on, and nowadays they call it networking. And another trombone player told me he was supposed to join a band in Philadelphia the next day, the Dean Hudson Orchestra, and he didn't want to go, so he said, would you like to do it? And I said, sure. So I called one number, and next day I was in Philadelphia at the Click Club, and there she was.
Oh, was it love?
That was my first contact.
Was it love at first sight?
For me.
Was it? Was it for you, Carol? Oh! Now the truth comes out.
That's why I ended up in sales. It took me 6 months to get a date with her.
Oh.
First, I maneuvered to ride in the same car after that engagement finished, and we went on the road. I managed to ride in the same car with her, so she got to know me a little bit, and it still took me 6 months.
But he was persistent.
But
it all paid off.
It was worth
Paid
it.
off.
Yes.
It sure did,
Yeah.
because you've had a long marriage and a big family, and what a life together.
Yes, that's true. It's
Yes.
a beautiful life, right?
Yeah.
So far.
I go so far.
So good.
So far.